It's been a busy week here in the Inland Northwest, so let's get you caught up with the KREM 2 News Week in Review. I'm Cody Proctor. Thanks for watching. Over the next half hour, we'll take a look at some of the news you might have missed from the past week here in the Inland Northwest. Let's get started with one of the week's biggest stories.
Well, this crash happened on Highway 41 and 16th Avenue in Post Falls. And Post Falls police tell me an inattentive driver ran a red light trying to go north onto Highway 41 when he hit and ran over a motorcyclist. Now that motorcyclist and his family are voicing their concerns, saying drivers need to be more careful on the road.
I don't want to go through this again.
Post Falls local Taz Kelling says before the crash, all he saw was headlights.
I was slowly going through the stoplight and the car just came out of nowhere and hit me. I was yelling at the kid to stop. Just ran on both legs. He wouldn't stop. He barely missed my head.
Kelling's wife, Jessica, was driving behind her husband in their family car.
Are watching it happen, screaming, no, no, no.
Their child in the passenger seat, she says she felt helpless.
My son and I watched sparks go flying off the motorcycle, tires coming towards my husband's head.
With multiple injuries, Taz says he's unable to work and provide for his family for the next several months.
A steel plate in my arm with screws. My ligaments are torn in both my knees. I got 5 fractured ribs and a fractured sternum.
Through this experience, the Kellings warn that drivers must be more cautious when motorcyclists are on the road.
When we're driving trucks, SUVs, cars, we are in something that is 1,000 times heavier than a motorcycle.
But despite the injuries and uncertainties ahead, they are thankful to see another day together.
It's heartbreaking.
So lucky that he was not taken from me that night. I was a single parent for 6 years until I met him.
Post Falls police tell me the driver received 3 citations. One of those citations was a misdemeanor for inattentive driving. However, the Kelling family say that consequence isn't enough. I'm reporting in Post Falls, Regan Gallo, KREM 2 News.
Well, it took less than an hour for a judge to sentence Gloria Endres to just over 2 years in prison for stabbing a Spokane County Sheriff's deputy in the neck.
In a Spokane County courtroom this morning,
I need to make sure you understand the rights that you're giving up and waiving by entering this plea.
the room stood silent as Gloria Endres pled guilty to stabbing a Spokane County deputy. According to court documents, back in August of last year, the Spokane County Sheriff's Office responded to Deer Park after Endres was seen running through people's yards by neighbors and trying to get into their houses.
The neighbor, she was trying to get in her house, and she's 70 years old, was going to let her in, and I just yelled, "Don't let her in, don't let her in."
A night Deer Park resident Lori Clark says neighbors still talk about today.
Yes, it was very traumatic. It still, is fresh in your mind even after that long ago. It's hard to trust people.
Documents say once deputies arrived, they tried to make contact with Endres. That's when she pepper sprayed a deputy and stabbed him with a large knife.
It shook us all up. We put doors and cameras up after that.
Endres is convicted of second-degree assault with a deadly weapon other than a firearm enhancement and second-degree assault, charges that add up to 26 months in prison since it's her first felony conviction. Now that she is officially sentenced after already serving over a year in prison, it's up to the courts to decide how much of that time counts towards this 26-month sentence. During the hearing, Endres, who also goes by the name Engel Immer, only answered the judge with yeses and nos until right before he gave her the final sentence.
I'm extremely regretful about what occurred, and I want to do everything I possibly can to live a bright future and do the right thing.
After she serves her time, Endres will still need to serve a year and a half in community custody. There, she will be required to meet with mental health professionals. In Spokane, Christian Garza, KREM 2 News.
Well, Idaho State Police say they are addressing staffing needs by extending the application deadline for their next Trooper Training Academy. Now, right here in the Coeur d'Alene office, Sergeant Scotch tells me they are down 11 troopers in Lewiston and 9 in Coeur d'Alene. Idaho State Police is putting out the call for more recruits.
I interviewed in 2012, and I came over across the country for this interview. It was over 1,000 people that were interviewing and testing for this position. And now what we're seeing is, we're struggling to get 100 or 200 applicants to apply.
Sergeant Justin Scotch says not as many people are going to the law enforcement field. The cost of living in North Idaho has been a deterrent. The application process is thorough, and outside agencies are paying more.
That it's around $30,000 more for agencies over in Washington.
ISP's starting pay rate is $30.07 per hour with no experience. That's about $60,000 a year. Compare that to across the state line with Washington State Patrol. Starting salary for a trooper cadet is $70,000 and a trooper is $90,000. But one new ISP trooper, Michael Garcia, says for him, it's not about the money.
I'm willing to go out there and sacrifice my life for people that I don't know, but that's my job. That's why I took this job. That's why I want to be here. I'm a servant. I'm a public servant for my community.
Looking across to Washington State, I asked WSP about their hiring numbers.
So right now we have an uptick of entry-level applicants, and we've seen that uptick for the last few years.
Trooper Axteman tells me in the past year, they've hired 3 troopers from Lewiston, but they say it does not happen often that applicants come from Idaho. Back in Coeur d'Alene, ISB hopes lawmakers boost trooper pay, saying it's key to improving public safety statewide.
Do the best that we can, and we will answer that call.
But between both states, one theme rang true. It's not money that recruits troopers, it's a calling to serve a greater purpose.
Times where it's rough, but with the support that we have here, I wouldn't want to be it with any other agency.
We are out looking for the person who has a servant's heart.
That new application deadline is now October 17th. I'm reporting right here in Coeur d'Alene, Regan Gallo, KREM 2 News.
As we go to break, here's a check of your forecast. Welcome back to the KREM 2 News Week in Review. Each weekend, we walk you through headlines for the past week in the Inland Northwest.
Downtown Rathdrum is officially under construction. It's the start of a major $500,000 makeover. The city started its work on the downtown revitalization project this week, thanks to a grant from the Idaho Department of Commerce.
The quiet town of Rathdrum is not so quiet anymore. This is the sound of the Downtown Revitalization Project. The work includes 2 projects. One is sidewalk replacement and refurbishing and adding new streetlights. The second is turning the city's gravel lot next to the old jail into a paved parking lot.
We really want to see a place that people love to be here, to work with the businesses and enjoy being downtown.
The city's administrator, Leon Deuce, says that does mean the Main Street trees will go away. He says the roots are making it too costly to keep the trees.
This area was revitalized 20 years ago, and the trees were put in and tried to have safeguards in place so the root system wouldn't come up. However, because of the growth of the trees, we've seen that the roots have still come up and started to destroy the sidewalks, meaning it's lifting panels up, it's creating trip hazards.
The first project is broken into 3 phases. Phase A starts on the south side of Main Street between McCartney and Mill. Phase B is on the same block but on the north side of the street. And then Phase C will move back to the south side of Main Street, a block farther west.
We have a stipulation in our contract with the contractor. They have 30 days to complete each phase.
I have chopstick trainers. You want me to get them for you?
Hot Pot Ramen House just opened on Main Street this year. They hope the sidewalk replacement work doesn't deter customers.
We're just getting into our busy season. Like right when the weather gets cold, we start getting people in. We get a lot of youth in that are walking from high school, from middle school.
It'll be a few months before this small Idaho town is quiet once again. The city is estimating completion on Main Street in December or January.
So we'll get through. We'll get to that finish line and we'll look forward to, spring being beautiful and blooming.
It may be a bit messy, but businesses here on Main Street will remain open during construction. Reporting in Rathdrum, Amanda Rowley, KREM 2 News.
More than 100 people spent their morning here at Spokane Valley Center Place for the annual Caregiver Conference. It's a way for those caregivers to get resources, expert advice, and connect with others in a similar situation. More and more Americans can relate.
Anxious, depressed.
To the feelings that may come with an unexpected role in life, the role of family caregiver, like Karen Miller.
10 years.
Caring for a spouse with Alzheimer's.
I became a real caregiver when my husband lost his vision, and he is completely blind, and that was a game changer.
It's her third time attending Frontier Behavioral Health's Caregiver Conference. She says the greatest takeaways from the annual event are connections with those in caregiving and new perspectives.
It's easy to say, oh, this is a challenge, but it's harder to say my gain from it. So,
keynote speaker Dr. Erin Blight from Virginia's Shenandoah University studies family caregiving and even had a home care business. But his start in this subject is personal.
So I was 29 and became a family caregiver for my mother-in-law. It was a building phase of our lives. We had small children. We were sandwich generation caregivers, which are now about 30% of the caregivers in America.
An unexpected role a growing number of Americans are taking on.
There are estimated to be 63 million family caregivers in the United States. That's about 1 in 4 adults.
Dr. Blight says caregivers should remember to care for themselves, including therapy.
Definitely don't try to go it alone. That's what I tried to do years ago, and it didn't work out so well. So there's definitely help available.
I was desperate while I was looking for someone to help me.
Miller credits Frontier Behavioral Health's caregiver support group.
I call it the wind beneath my wings.
You can find resources for caregivers, including the support group, at KREM.com. Shannon Mowdy, KREM 2 News.
More than 2 years after the incident, 32-year-old Elijah Harvey was sentenced to more than 30 years in prison for the murder of Thomas Carlos. Both the family of Carlos and Harvey say they're devastated.
Please rise.
Inside a Spokane County courtroom,
You took someone that was precious and loved by many. And for that, I despise you.
family of Thomas Carlos spoke strong words during the sentencing of 32 and a half years in prison for Elijah Harvey for Carlos's murder. Carlos was shot and killed in the parking lot of the Parkview Apartments on New Year's Eve 2022. He was shot multiple times. After nearly a year, detectives with Spokane Police's Major Crimes Unit connected Harvey and his accomplice, Taco Bay, to the shooting through eyewitnesses. Police say the victim and suspects knew each other and described it as a targeted attack. A judge sentenced Bay to just under 3 years in prison last week. Harvey was found guilty of the murder last month. At his sentence this afternoon, the family of Carlos appeared over Zoom. His cousin Sherelle spoke on behalf of all of them, saying he was taken too soon and Harvey deserves to serve for his death.
I can't hate you, but I will despise you. You broke one of the 10 Commandments. Thou shalt not kill. And for that reason, you'll have to answer for what you did.
Judge Marla Paulin sentenced Harvey to 32 and a half years in prison. His mother spoke at the sentencing, saying she does not believe her son murdered Carlos.
And I don't believe in my heart that he took your person. I am sorry.
Sherelle responded, saying her family's still heartbroken at the loss.
To the mother who was referred to him as that person was a father, brother, son, cousin, nephew. He has a whole family that loves him also. We have to visit him at his cemetery.
As both families react to Judge Paulin's sentencing, Sherelle emphasizes her family's heartbreak nearly 3 years after Carlos's death.
We'll keep his memory alive for as long as we live. And as for you, Mr. Harvey, you can rot in hell.
Connor McAvoy, KREM 2 News.
Thanks for joining KREM 2 News this weekend. I'm Cody Proctor. Right now, we're taking a look back at some of the news stories from the past week.
In a bold move to protect immigrant communities, Seattle Mayor Bruce Harrell signed 2 executive orders aimed at blocking what he calls unlawful federal overreach from the Trump administration.
This should cause all of us pause and concern. We cannot normalize this extreme action. This is not normal behavior. It's not rational behavior, particularly coming from the highest office in our country.
The first order focuses on blocking unauthorized National Guard troops from deploying to Seattle and requiring coordination with local and state leaders if troops are mobilized. The second strengthens protections for immigrant and refugee communities, including a proposed ban on ICE agents wearing masks, except in limited situations.
This legislation puts Seattle on track to be the first major city in the country to adopt a ban mask on federal officers.
Immigrant advocate organizations are applauding the mayor's actions.
It is one of the strongest executive orders we've seen across the country.
One America says stakes are high, and so is the fear among the immigrant community.
Seeing leaders stand up, both elected officials and community leaders standing shoulder to shoulder and saying, while we can't make a promise of protection, we will use every tool in our arsenal to protect people.
Seattle leaders say they're sending a clear message. The city won't stand by as federal actions threaten its values or its residents.
We stand firmly against the militarization of our communities, the militarization here in Seattle of this approach.
It's the warmest day of the week, and we're talking snow and ice. That's because Spokane County's Public Works Department is ready to roll this winter. Spokane County is responsible for the largest road system in the state, more than 5,100 lane miles, and they get started well before the first storm. While there are no new additions to this winter's plan, the county has fully implemented snow gates, created and built by the county's own crews.
It's been a huge success, and we have now equipped nearly every single one of our graders with those snow gates. Now, we do want to let folks know that those snow gates are used only in our residential areas, sort of those curbed neighborhood settings.
Commissioner Josh Kern says that's led to less complaints about blocked driveways. The crews will also use liquid and dry de-icers, along with a salt sand mixture. But there's another tool in the arsenal to combat icy conditions.
The county has recently installed special devices on our graders. The blade attachment is called the shark tooth, and they chew through that layer of ice, and they can get down to the ground and give you that traction.
Once that big equipment does hit the streets, you can stay up to date on priority routes and track plow progress at Spokane County's Public Works website. Shannon Mowdy, KREM 2 News.
Welcome back to the KREM 2 News, a week in review. We hope you're having a great weekend. Let's get back to one more story you might have missed this past week.
I am very, very excited as Tom's Turkey Drive is right around the corner. Officially kicks off November 3rd. But tonight I've got to show you what the winning artwork looks like for the Tom's Turkey Drive volunteer shirts. Look at this. Isn't this super cute? This was done by a 10-year-old that lives out here in the Spokane Valley. She doesn't know that she's the winner yet. We're waiting to get them printed up on the t-shirts, and then we will surprise her in November. Other big news, back on camera right here. Look at what we've added to Tom's Turkey Drive, reusable shopping bags. These are going to sell for $5 at Rosar's, with every penny going to Tom's Turkey Drive. So we're going to help feed a lot of families this year. We're hoping to feed 8,500 families in need, and we need your help. Please remember that Tom's Turkey Drive starts at all area Rose Hours on November 3rd.
Keep it here for more news and weather updates throughout the weekend. And don't forget, you can watch our latest newscasts anytime on your schedule on KREM 2 Plus. Download and watch right now for free. I'm Cody Proctor. Thank you for watching the KREM 2 News Week in Review.